going on, everybody? Sean Daniel with Guitar Control here, and prepare yourself for the most beautiful guitar lesson you're ever going to experience, because we're talking strictly about major 7 guitar chords. So you're going to want to click the link below, because I'm going to make chord charts for all 4 voicings of major 7 chords that we're going to use, and we're going to talk a little bit about where you can kind of insert these into your playing and how it's going to sound. All right? So what is a major 7 chord? It's a major chord, which usually any major chord you see, like C major, G major, A major, those are triads. They have 3 different notes in them. Like a G major chord, it may seem like you're playing 6 strings, which you are, but the notes are G, B, D, G, B, G. So G, B, and D, those are 3 different notes. It doesn't matter how many of each one you have, as long as you have 3 different ones, that's a triad chord. Now what a major 7 chord is, we're adding 1 note to that. So instead of having a triad, we're having a 4-note chord. And the way we get that 4th note is by taking the 7th note from the major scale. All right, so a G major 7 chord is a G major with the 7th note from the G major scale added. All right, really easy to find the 7th note from any scale. All you do is you find the note that the scale comes from. So in G major, we could count through the major scale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to get this F sharp. But easy way to do that, take the root note, go back a half step. G, F sharp, all right? So any way that we can add an F sharp note to a G chord is going to give us a G major 7 chord. We're going to go through a few different examples of that, and all of these are going to end up being movable shapes that you can use, all right? The absolute easiest way to play a G major 7 chord is, let's just take the bottom 4 strings, D, G, B, and the 3rd fret on the high E string, and then just turn that to the 2nd fret, okay? So it's open, 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 2. Or if you still want to play maybe like the lower part of the G, however you want to add that in there, but not necessary. You can just add that 2nd note. Easiest chord you could possibly play, and it sounds beautiful, all right? So G major 7. All right? Now, that's not a movable shape just yet. We're going to come back to that one a little bit. The first one I want to do is you learn a major 7 voicing rooted on the low E string. All right, so we're going to take this 3rd fret on the E string. This is our G. Your ring finger is going to take the 4th fret on the D string. Your pinky is going to grab the 4th fret on the G string, and your middle finger is going to grab the 3rd fret on the B string. Okay, I'm only playing 4 different strings here. I'm muting the A string. You can see my pointer finger isn't holding it down. It's just touching the string, so it's not vibrating. Therefore, I can kind of strum it without getting that open A string. We don't want that, okay? So the great thing about this G major 7 chord voicing is you can move it anywhere. If we just move everything 1 fret higher, it's G sharp major 7, A major 7, A sharp or B flat major 7, B major 7, C major 7. It's a movable shape, which those are the shapes that you really want to learn because you can kind of incorporate them anywhere. So this is chord voicing number 1, the E string rooted G major 7, all right? Now I want to do one rooted on the A string, all right? Now the G, we have to find out where that G is on the A string. We can count through the musical alphabet. A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G. The 10th fret on the A string is a G. Now this might be kind of uncharted territory for some of you who have never ventured this high up the neck, but it's really worth it because we get that G right there, make a power chord, so 10A, 12D, 11G. You notice the G string, the 12th fret is a G, we go back 1, there's that F sharp, there's that 7. In fact, you could actually play just these 3 notes, and I'll allow that as a G major 7. Even though we only have 3 different notes, like I said, there are 4 notes in this chord, you can imply those notes. As long as we have the root note and that major 7, and this would be the 5th, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it'll count. But we're going all the way. We're going the distance here. Pinky's going to be on the 12th fret of the B string. All right, so this is going to be our A string rooted G major 7. Again, movable just like the other ones. You can go backwards this time. G major 7, F sharp major 7, F major 7, E major 7, E flat or D sharp major 7, D major 7, C sharp major 7, C. All right, so we've got this first one rooted on the low E string, this next one rooted on the A string. Now, we got to do one on the D string, right? This is a really cool one because you can actually use this as an arpeggio, so we're going to get to that in a second. Basically, the G on the D string, count up just like the other ones. Open D is a D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G. The 5th fret on the D string is also a G. So if you play this with your pinky, here's our root note. Your hand is already going to be kind of in position to play this next chord. All right, this is going to be a staircase looking thing. What I mean by that is we're going to go down a string, back a fret with your ring finger, down a string, back a fret with your middle finger, down a string, back a fret with your pointer finger. So we're just going down or up a staircase, however you want to look at it. Now, this could be kind of a challenge to stretch your fingers out to kind of get to that, but totally worth it when you get there. Really beautiful chord, all right? Sounds really good when you arpeggiate it, play it one note at a time, too. All right, so just like everything else, G, major 7, G sharp, major 7, A major 7, over and over again. Impress your friends with this very interesting chord voicing. So that's our 3rd of 4. Now, I said we were going to get back to this one right here. The very first one we did, which is the easiest one. Open, D, G, and B, and then 2 on the high E string. Now, this isn't movable because if I go like here, that doesn't sound very good, right? So we have to compensate for the open strings being moved. The best way to find this is to find the root note of what you want to do. And like I said, with this G major chord, the G, the 3rd fret on the high E string is a G, just like it is in the low E string. Now, if we move this back, we get the 7th note in that scale, and that 7th note is what we needed to make a major 7 chord. So find a root note, back it up, and then bar the previous 3 strings, right? So if I wanted to play an A major 7, I'd find an A, which is the 5th fret on the high E string, go back to find that 7th note in the A major scale. I don't even need to know the notes of the A major scale, but I know that right before this is the 7th note, and then bar the rest of them. So this could be another voicing that you'd use for A major 7, but we want to find the G, okay? So where is the next G on the high E string? We have to go all the way down to the 15th fret, past the octave bar, okay? Now we just do what we did before, go back a fret. And honestly, we can play it like this, and it sounds fine, but I want to make it more movable, so I'm going to bar the D, G, and B strings, and just get that right there. Really not too hard of a chord, because if you're having trouble with bar chords, this might be a really accessible one, because these ones are a lot easier to bar than maybe the lower ones are. So I've got 12D, 12G, 12B, and 14E. G major 7, F sharp major 7, F major 7, E major 7, so on and so forth. So if I played them in order, the first one we did was this G major 7 right here. The second one is I'm going to root on the 10th fret. The third one I'm going to go back to this G. And the fourth one I'm going to go open position or all the way down and then end on G major. Now, when can you use these is a great question. In any scale, the 1st, 4th, and 5th notes become major chords. The 1st and 4th notes can actually be extended to major 7 chords, okay? Now this is an extended chord, that's why we're talking about it, because we're adding that 7th note to it. So let's say we're in the key of C, C, D, E, F. C and F are 2 major 7 chords that we could use. Now you could also put it on another major chord. You can really do whatever you want. Get as creative as you want with it. Put it anywhere. But traditionally, you'll find these on the 1 chord and the 4 chord. So anytime that you see a progression like a C, F, G progression, let's extend those first 2 chords and let's do an example so we can kind of see the color that it brings out in the progression. So if we start with C to F to G back to C, all right? That's gonna be our progression. Tried and true. Might sound a little bit boring, right? But now let's start extending those chords. So let's take this C, so I use the A string root for the first C chord. There it is, 3rd fret. Put that 2nd chord voicing we did. Same chord voicing all the way down to the 8th fret, which is an F. So same voicing to the regular G. And then the first voicing we did, but on a C, the 8th fret of the low E string. Then we go to the... I just walked up that other voicing that we did, and then ended on regular C major. Now, one thing that if you want to end on a C major 7 chord, we totally could. And it has kind of like a, I don't know, a totally different feel. It might not seem completely resolved, completely finished. So again, C, F, G. Kind of a pretty way to end a song, maybe not the finality that you're looking for. In that case, just do a regular old C major chord and that'll close it. A triad on the 1 chord has a resolution to it. If you use a major 7 chord there, I'm all for that. I do that a lot personally, but it's not for everyone because it doesn't have that sense of closure. But definitely chord voicings that you want to incorporate into your vocabulary, into your repertoire, and it's really easy because they're all movable shapes, and just start experimenting with them and see what comes of it. So if you learned a lot about chord building, you're in luck because we have other great music theory and instructional videos that you can always click around here, and we're always looking for your feedback, so definitely let us know what you liked and what you didn't like, and who your favorite guitar teacher is in the comments. Thanks a lot.